podcast called Jellison Podcast.
He probably doesn't remember this at all.
Yeah, record together. It's easy.
This is kind of real, like holy shit.
And so it's really cool to get to be a part of that.
Hey, you know how it is, Bill. Hey, when
you now tune into the biggest ever.
We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
I don't remember that. That's crazy.
What's up, everyone? We're back with episode 139 of the Jellison Podcast today for a special guest, IUPUI alum, basketball trainer, DJ McCall. DJ, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well as well. Thank you so much for coming on doing this. We've been at it for a while. We finally got a day and time to lock it down. I want to start. This last month or so for you has been kind of a whirlwind. I saw you sign with the Mad Ants, and then you were with another G League team, the Blue Coats of Delaware. Talk about how those kind of opportunities came to be.
It was definitely a crazy week, and really, what kind of happened was, obviously I played with the Mad Ants the 2019-2020 season. And then this past summer in May and June, I was in Valencia, Spain, at Europro Basket, an exposure camp, trying to start my career in Europe. So I, went there, prepared for that, went really well, ended up signing with a team called Albacete Basket in the third division, Spain. Was really excited about that. But I think, what really happened was, I signed and, I think I, got to, really thinking, and I think, what I really wanted was, that validation I could get another contract. Because, during that Mad Ants season, 2019-2020, was dealing with an ankle injury, and that was my first time ever dealing with an injury. And, obviously my game, I'm an athletic wing who plays defense. So when I'm out there wobbly, not 100%, it kind of took a strain on me physically, but, even more mentally, I had to end up getting surgery after that season. And with the pandemic, I couldn't do electoral surgery. So I was really supposed to get surgery in April 2020, wasn't able to get surgery till December 2020. So just going on a little bit over a year anniversary since I got that ankle surgery. So after that surgery, basically, I, had that goal of getting another contract. And, fast forward, to what I just was kind of talking about in terms of signing with the team in Spain. I was extremely thankful, that they wanted me, and, I was interested too, but I just, really came to a reflection period in my life. And I realized that, I was ready to, walk away from the game, on my terms. So I retired in September, and literally was on the job hunt there for a month and a half, which was a lot stressful than I ever thought it was, or would be, but it was actually good for me too. And I ended up getting an opportunity as a basketball trainer here at, where I work, Optimum Performance Sports, OPS. It's a, athletic performance training service here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And they literally just built a beautiful gym we got 4 courts in here, a huge athletic performance center, 24-hour fitness gym. It's beautiful here. And so this was actually my first job. I started working here, but the reason I kind of talk about all that is because the general manager of the Mad Ants, Chris Taylor, who's obviously was my boss at one point, but he's actually, a good friend of mine, a great mentor, and, someone that if I needed someone to, give a good referral or reference for me, he's the first guy I'm going to. So we have a really good relationship. And the craziest part is like, he actually put a good word in for me to get this job I have now. So I started here in November, and, I'm here a lot. And I really enjoy it. I really enjoy helping kids get better, not only physically, but mentally as players. And, I've really been, working a lot. So it was kind of funny. The week prior to getting the call from Chris Taylor about coming back, I actually texted him about getting some Pacer tickets to a game. So I reached out to him, and he, thankfully he hooked me up with those, but he sent me a text the next week, and he texted me saying, "Hey, random question, are you fully vaccinated?" And, I said yes. And I'm thinking that was something to do with the tickets he had given me. So he calls me right away, and I'm literally on the court. This is pretty funny. And, I look at it on my watch, and I mean, I think anybody else, I probably wouldn't have answered it, because I was literally running an AAU practice. And I see him on my phone, and I'm like, girls, go shoot free throws. And then I answered, and he basically said, "Hey man, I know you're working, full time, but we're down guys due to COVID and having so many call-ups. Would you be interested in coming back and playing Thursday and Saturday's game, and then we'll release you after the game Saturday, and we'll send you off and the right way, basically." And I was obviously kind of shocked, because I've been working a lot. I knew I wasn't in professional basketball shape, but I felt like I couldn't say no. So I just wanted. That was a Sunday. The next day, I did all my physical stuff, medical stuff, went down to Indy, practiced with the team Tuesday, Wednesday. And I really had to push myself mentally and physically, obviously, being out of shape, but, I think it was good for me though, too. And had our game Thursday. They put me, I didn't play. They put me in with we had 19 seconds left. Game was over. They put me in, which was nice of them to do. The Fort Wayne fans like that. And then the second game, we only had 8 or 9 guys. So I played a couple minutes, but overall it was it was really cool experience. And just even to have my coworkers come to the games and stuff, and all the kids that I work with, for them to come to the game and show their support, that meant a lot to me. So that was really cool. So right after that game Saturday, I signed my my paperwork to allow them to waive me. So they waived me in 2 or 3 minutes after the news on hit the website about me getting waived. My agent called me and said, "Hey, I just got a call from the Delaware Bluecoats, and they were supposed to have a game Friday against Windy City, but they don't have enough guys, so the game's been postponed. It was postponed Friday and Saturday, and they play tomorrow, and they were curious if you could drive up to Chicago and play with them." And I vividly remember just thinking, this is such a crazy, weird situation. I'm literally playing part-time professional basketball. But once again, an opportunity that I was, one, I couldn't say no to, and two, was thankful for. So I literally, that was at want to say 5 o'clock, maybe I'd say maybe 4 or 5 Saturday. And then I was going to just head to Chicago right then, but it was way too icy out here in Fort Wayne. So like I couldn't even, I had to stay and leave in the morning and wait for the ice to melt. So I left here Sunday morning at 4 a.m. Got there, obviously with the time change, I got there around like 6:30. Got some sleep, made it to shoot around, and then had to do some other physical medical stuff. And then I ended up playing in that game that evening. And then they released me. But I thought it just like to go and see another G League pro organization. I know it was only one day and I wasn't actually there in Delaware, but it was cool too. And meet and connect with a whole group of players and coaches. I mean, I think down the road that could really benefit me from a network standpoint. But no, it was really cool. And then I could have stayed Sunday night and was going to go back to Fort Wayne Monday morning, but I just kind of wanted to get it over with, that drive. And I left after we had our post-game meal, came back to Fort Wayne, and I had like an hour and a half left in the drive. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish I would have just left Monday morning. But no, it was a crazy week, mentally, physically. But I thought it was awesome. I mean, I think that's to go from retired to, because that third game with Delaware, I played like 21 minutes. So playing like from retired to a week later playing, 20 plus minutes in a G League game, pretty surreal. But no, I thought it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly sounds like it. That's absolutely crazy. But I am glad that you got that opportunity to at least play close to home. You played at home before, and then went up to Chicago. But I mean, you're officially done hooping?
So I mean, I thought I said that in September. I think the way I look at it now, like I can't say like, similar to how people say never. Like I can't say that I will never play again, because I honestly don't know. I don't plan to. I'm really happy with what I do now, and doing player development and helping kids get better. I'm still in basketball. I'm on the court more than I was as a player. But then again too, like, I feel like from just an IQ standpoint, just, coaching and training, I see the game a lot differently. So, I probably will continue to always work out. And especially after like seeing how I was I got out of shape just from working so much. And then to go and try to get in the best shape possible to prepare for those games. It made me at least, be more self-aware about, my physical health and staying active. So the answer is like, for now, I'm at peace with the job I have right now. Do I expect to go join a G League team for the rest of the season? No. Would I go, like, if an opportunity right now in Europe presented itself to go over there for the rest of the season, I probably wouldn't be interested in that. If a team needed me, like the situation, the Mad Ants in Delaware needed me as a replacement player, where I'm just with the team for a few days to a week, I would do that. But right now, I'm really happy in the work space I do right now. So that's how I would answer that question.
I mean, if this is it, like, if you, I know the future is kind of uncertain just in terms of everything like you talked about, but if this is it, if you never play a professional basketball game again, I mean, how are you going to just look back at your entire journey? Because I mean, you're only like 26, right? So I mean, you retired very young in terms of basketball age.
Yeah. To answer your question, if I never play again, I'd be 100% okay with that. And I think that's something I'm very happy with, and it's something I'm just not saying to say it. I thought I was never gonna play. I honestly, like, I signed with the team in Spain in June, and I didn't officially retire and say it to my family till I believe the end of August. So there was there for like a month and a half, 2 months, where I really had to sit down, reflect, and really ask myself if I was ready to be done. And I was. And ever since I came to that realization, I think mentally it's helped me a lot. And then on the flip side of that too, with my job, as said, I'm around basketball so much, and just to be able to help kids, like help them in ways that I wish I had at their age, or just maybe I did have that help or wasn't willing to listen, or maybe the delivery of the way a coach gave it didn't hit home with me, so things didn't click. So for me, like, for example, I'm going to go play in a men's league game tonight with one of my best friends. Like, that's a lot of fun to me. And the reality is, when you play basketball and you get out of it, play basketball for a living, don't get me wrong, doing something you love is an amazing opportunity, and it's great. But when you get out of it and then you go play for a week randomly, professionally, you realize that this basketball industry, this hoop industry, it's tough. And I think anyone would tell you that. I mean, there's not, like, security wise, stability wise, unless you're in the NBA signing a long-term deal, you don't know where you're going to be next year. You don't know where you're going to be 6 to 9 months from then. You get hurt overseas. A lot of times, health insurance, you don't have that. So, like, for me right now, as a basketball trainer and a part of a great organization and an awesome facility, and I'm technically a hospital employee, I mean, I'm extremely thankful for that. And I have a job in basketball. I love doing it, and it's stable. It makes you kind of, look at, wow, like, man, like, I was playing in the G League, like, making this much money, only getting paid 5 months of the year. My first year in the G League, I don't want to know the number, but a lot of the money I made, it went to me getting ankle surgery, or going and buying ankle tape or stuff for my ankle during that period between, needing surgery from April to December. So, like, I feel like I've seen all the ins and outs of professional basketball. I went over to Europe. I've been in the G League. I physically saw how close but yet far away the NBA G League and the NBA are. I've got to meet some awesome teammates, coaches, front office people. And the way I look at it, realistically, I love basketball. I mean, that's true. It is what it is. I love basketball. I have really my whole life. And if I want to make money doing what I love, you know, when I look at my window as a player, it's extremely small. And, you know, I don't know if like future wise, it just looks so small to me, but like the coaching, player development side, the analytics side, I did my master's degree at IUPUI in sports analytics. The scouting side, from advanced scouting to being on the analytics side and also being a player, I feel like that is the long-term answer for me in basketball. And you know, I'm very thankful for that. And you know, to even to be with those 2 G League teams in a week after going and working here full time for a couple months and then come back to work, I think, you know, someone going back to work, they'd be a little, you know, down, depressed that they're no longer a professional basketball player. Where me, you know, I was happy to be back. You know, it was awesome to see my kids again, see my coworkers again. And that's when it really clicked for me. Like I have a really, really cool situation here. So yeah, so like I know I kind of rambled there for a little bit, but just, you know, if you want to work in basketball, if you want to make money from basketball, playing wise, you know, in any sport, I mean, the playing aspect of it is it's a short window, it's a small window. And you know, I was, you know, super happy that, you know, my career's over right now. You know, I got to play, you know, you could say, I don't know if you would consider a week in the G League as a third year, but you know, to play 3 years professionally, you know, that's awesome. You know, for me, I never, you know, you got to realize, like, I'm a guy that, you know, was under recruited in high school, didn't really have many offers. Like for me to just make it really for me just to get a college basketball scholarship, you know, that was, you know, huge for me. And for me to take that and turn it into a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, G League, overseas in Europe, you know, that's what I'm happiest about. And the way I look at it, like I tell people this all the time. They ask me, you know, what's, you know, basketball wise, what's the biggest thing you're proud of, you know, out of all the accomplishments you've done, goals you've achieved. And for me, it's by far like clear cut using basketball to go get a master's degree. I mean, that, as I said, like that's what's going to set me up for the rest of my life. You know, the way I look at my career, honestly, like from, you know, grade school to middle school was, you know, was talented, was, you know, one of the better players in my area, just, you know, kind of off of talent. And then as I got to high school, you know, I played JV as a freshman, came off the bench my sophomore year. You know, typically guys that, you know, are pretty talented, you know, one of the top guys in their class, like that 8th grade class, you kind of expect them to play varsity their freshman year, but the reality was I was not ready yet. And then my sophomore year came off the bench. And then my junior year is kind of when things really started to turn the corner. So like I was kind of a late bloomer for the most part. And then my senior year was committed to IUPUI. And, you know, kind of my senior year, I was, you know, pretty distracted, you know, off the court stuff, you know, the reality of it, hanging around the wrong people, partying, not focused, you know, not being the player and young man I should have been. And then went to college, which was a good fresh start for me to get away. And got opportunity to play my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, I got redshirted by out of nowhere by the coach. It was the coach's decision. And I'm gonna be honest, like I wanted to transfer at first, and but I stuck with it, and I realized from when I committed to IUPUI to getting redshirted, this time in between, was very unfocused. Wasn't working hard, was worried about the wrong things off the court, hanging around the wrong people, kind of all caught up to me. And I didn't really realize it till my redshirt year. And then that year I, put in a lot of work on the court, off the court, in the classroom, in the weight room, on my body, mentally, physically, emotionally, really turned the corner 180 really. And then that next year, after my redshirt year, I started those next 3 years. And it's just crazy if that redshirt year never happens, I probably never go get my master's degree. I never get my master's degree. I don't get defensive player of the year in the Horizon League. And I think that defensive player of the year is what got me my opportunity in the G League. So it's just kind of crazy how it all played out. But the way I look at it, like from my redshirt year to when I retired, I went full go, all out, relentless work ethic. And because of that, I that's why I think I'm so at peace that if my career is over right now, I'm 100% happy with that. And that's what I'm most thankful about. And for me to get some opportunities and achievements from those that, 2015 was my redshirt year to now. So 7 years of really hard work. I think that, I think it paid off. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And I mean, you kind of talked about putting your ego aside and kind of getting that contract just for your own satisfaction. I mean, at the end of the day, you can choose to move on and start a new chapter in your life, or you can go like the Andre Ingram route. He's the guy on the Lakers that spent I want to say 12 years in the G League. Finally got called up for 10 days, and then I don't really know what he's doing now. But that's the balance you have to find. It's just boils down to whatever you want to do as a person. But I want to talk about the OPS because it looks like you guys are doing something special. What was it like to give back to those kids and help them, especially being where you're from in Fort Wayne?
It's awesome for me. Just because they're for a few years, I'd be very curious to know how many hours I spent in the gym all by myself. And a lot of the times I was, my own trainer. And for me to take the focus off myself now and put it into these kids, and for them to get that aha moment, or something really clicks for them, that's a feeling for me that I sometimes maybe never got as a player. It's just a different type of feeling. And for me, to be able to call that my job, it's kind of surreal, because I was talking to my mom about this the other day. I was like, who grows up and says, hey, I want to be a basketball trainer? It's kind of unheard of. And for me, I never expected to do it full time. For me, I started coaching, I believe my second or third year at IUPUI, and it was more just like a part-time, make some money thing. And then, realized I was not bad at it. And then, kind of coaches and mentors that I worked with, or that were a part of, the different programs I helped out with, really, said, hey, you could be a coach one day. And I just never really thought of, doing that, because the reality is, like, basketball training and coaching, that starting out, it's not very financially stable. I mean, you got to grind, and I just, wasn't really interested in starting over. But the way I look at it, like, I've, in the last, when I started coaching in 2015, I've worked with a lot of players. I've worked with 3 different AU programs, training programs, Indy Hoops Academy in Indianapolis, Competitive Greatness with Taylor Ware in Indianapolis, and then Team Focus here in Fort Wayne. And then now it's OPS. And I was thinking, like, I guess I do have a lot more experience in it than I did. So I think that kind of, gave me some credibility as I, interviewed for this job. And, but no, to answer your question, like, I work here a lot, but I think I do that because, 75% of the time it doesn't actually feel like work. So to be doing something that doesn't feel like work, that's a, stable career in terms of, they're acknowledging of my tech background, and they want to get their, in the process of giving me opportunities to continue to, do some tech stuff, write some code. So I'm excited about that too. And to be in the healthcare while being a basketball trainer, it's still surreal to me. And I just think the way I try to show my appreciation and gratitude is just work as hard as I can and try to help the kids as much as I can.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been sitting here talking here for 30 minutes, but I mean, just on your social media and Instagram and whatever, you can tell that it means a lot to you to be out there with those kids. And I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's what you want to see. Like, if you're one of those kids that is being trained by you, or one of their parents, you're like, yeah, I want that relationship to be tight. I want DJ to actually care about my kid, because there's a lot of people out there that, I mean, none of the people that I've talked to personally, all the people I've talked to that are in the basketball training world and everything like that have been amazing. But I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are just kind of chasing that paycheck. Your kid is just another number, but I feel like that's different, especially in Indiana. I know, like, Taylor Ware and the Delks, Joey Burton, DG. I mean, there's a ton of people, and then you're kind of following suit as well.
Yeah, they, first of all, those guys all do an amazing job and do a great job. And Taylor Ware, specifically, I worked with Taylor starting, I think, and it was my second to last year at IUPUI. So I believe in 2017, I started working with Taylor Ware, but we really started to get it in when I finished up at IUPUI. I moved in with him. Like, I lived with Taylor there for like a year, and we, like, really got to it. And I mean, he's just a good dude overall. Like, I mean, he's so busy too, like, but he's just, overall, he's trying to help people. And I think he works extremely hard and has done a great job, building his competitive greatness business. And like, I've learned so much from him, not only on the court, but just off the court, and just the way he's like a big brother, just the relationship aspect of it. That's a good guy. And I owe him a lot of credit because he's really the one who, working with him and, like, the energy he had on the court and his positivity and his delivery. I catch myself acting a lot like Taylor sometimes on the court. He's a great guy, and even, like, there was one point I was living at Taylor's, but Taylor was out of town, he was in town, but he went back to his mom's house just for a week and lived there just so Desmond Bain could take his room. So me and Desmond Bain were like living together, working out together for a week. And it's funny, like I'm so happy for Desmond, by the way. I mean, that what he's doing in the league right now is no surprise because he puts that work in, and he's been really doubted his whole career from high school to, I mean, what he's doing right now in his second year, it's his second year, right? Second, maybe he's going to win most improved player. I think if he gets in the 3-point contest, he could see people. But no, like it's kind of funny because that's my guy though. My name's Desmond too, so like we met that week, but I bring that up just for like Taylor to go do something like that, like just off the court. I mean, he does so much for his guys, and that when you get on the court and you just want to work really hard with them, it's just and just that relationship component is what I take away from Taylor. I mean, that's a guy that he's so busy. I'm so busy up here in Fort Wayne now but if we see each other, we're just hitting it off. We're like right where we left off. That's my guy. But no, overall and throughout Indiana, there's some amazing trainers. In Indianapolis area, we got Rob Blackwell, Joey Burton. You said DG, Taylor. There's a lot of guys. And then up here in Fort Wayne, I mean, we have OPS here, but you still have, Bernard Hollins with Always 100, who does an amazing job. And then you got Jamal Howell with Gym Rats, Indy Heat Gym Rats. He does an amazing job. And then, the thing about the player development industry is, I think sometimes, trainers can get a little possessive in terms of if you're working with them, they only want you working with them. I would never ever apply pressure on a kid to say, hey, you can only work with me, because like basketball is such a dynamic sport. There's so much things that go onto it, and that's just on the court. You got your lifestyle aspect, how you're taking care of your body, feet, what you're putting in your body, the sleep you're getting, your recovery treatment. I think sometimes more resources the better. So like, for example, if we have a kid here that I'm working with and they're saying they're going to Always 100 and working with Bernard Hollins, I literally told the girl, continue to do that, because my stuff's a little bit more detailed, hands-on, tweaking some things and then repping it out, where Bernard's is a lot of conditioning, and he has some other great stuff as well. And you got to think, if I'm only working with a kid for an hour a day or maybe even one session a week, how can I just say, hey, don't go work out with someone else? Or even we have an AAU program. I would never pressure a kid into saying, hey, you need to, if you're working with me, you need to play for our AAU team. Never. And that's a big thing. I told myself when I knew I was going to get in this industry, I would never, ever be possessive. I'm here to help the kids. And I'm just a piece and a resource for them. For me to ever just tell a player, hey, you should only be working with me, I think that's some of the most ignorant thing you could ever say as a basketball trainer.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I was talking to Jordan Delks about that actually, and he was like, yeah, like me and DG are doing some stuff, and then me and Joey Burton talk all the time. It's like, I mean, at the end of the day, you're making an impact on kids. So like, what? Yeah, I don't really get that either, but I can see where it could be an issue with some people, but fortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. At the end of the day, I mean, those are your competitors. But it's the game of basketball.
Yeah, no.
You cannot, there's no way you can train every kid.
Mhm.
There is no way you can have every kid in your organization. I mean, that's one thing that kind of bothered me, the possessive aspect of it. But me, I know I will never be like that. And, you know, I would always encourage a kid, get, you know, get what you need from multiple people. All right? You might need to work on your shot with somebody. You might need to work on your ball handling with someone else or the same person. You might need to work on your conditioning with someone else. I mean, I do understand, like, sometimes as an athlete, you do have to have that communication amongst everybody to make sure, you know, everything is flowing smoothly in terms of not overdoing it, you know, workout wise. But I think basketball is so dynamic. There's so many things you can work on. You can literally be in the gym for 24 hours, just in the gym, and there's no way, and you still wouldn't be able to get to work on every single thing you need to be a great player. But with that being said, you know, and I tell kids this too, if you're just seeing me twice a week, once a week, just for an hour, and you're not doing what I've taught you on your own, then it's never going to actually click for you. And you know, that's a part of it too. Like, I'm only a small percentage of how much I can help you if it just me seeing you in person. I would, for you to really get better at what we're working on here, you got to take what I'm teaching, saying to you, and go do it on your own. And you know, I'm gonna be honest, like when I was younger, like high school, probably like right when I got to college, I didn't really think that working out mattered, like working on your game. Like I just thought you naturally get better. And that's probably just kind of like me just being naive from like just being, you know, naturally kind of more talented than when I was younger. But no, you got to really put you got to put a lot of work. You got to put a lot of time in the gym, and that's with all sports. And like you get into this discussion of athletes make so much money. Yeah, but that window's small, and most of the work is in the summer when you're by yourself in a gym, and you're not getting paid for that. Yeah. So, you know, that's how, I know I kind of went off track there a little bit, but you just got to put a lot of time in. And for me to just say, oh, just working with me for 1 hour a week is going to get you to reaching your basketball goals. It's not true. You got to take what you've learned, put the work in on your own as well.
And hats off to you for telling them that. I mean, I'm gonna have to wrap this thing up. I'm gonna go to the Purdue game, but hey, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm glad we got to do this. All the best to you and all the people at OPS. You guys all have a bright future.
No, thank you so much, man, and I appreciate you having me on. I've been a big fan of your stuff, so thankful to come on, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a good one. See ya.